Oh, hello. Hi,
Yeah,
everybody.
now I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think I've got video. Have I? Yes. Oh, good.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I can
Thanks,
see you.
everybody. Great. This is an unusual format for me, so I'm just getting used to the controls.
Yeah,
But
it's the same here.
Thank you very much for joining the NFT Festival on Connect.Club. My name is Mike Butcher. I'm the editor at large for TechCrunch. TechCrunch obviously famously covers technology startups, venture capital, and more recently, of course, crypto and Web3. And I've been writing about it for about 5 or 6 years. And I was a journalist who broke the early stories about Polkadot and the Parity project, which has become obviously massive ever since. And so I'm delighted to run this panel. This is about unusual business in NFTs, and we're joined by a fantastic bunch of panelists this evening. We are joined by David Palmer, who is a visionary and global platform innovator with Vodafone Business Blockchain Lead. David, how are you?
Hi, Mike. Glad to be here. New forum for me, but enjoying the forum and looking forward to this discussion.
Great. I hope you're comfortable on your chair there.
Indeed.
Fantastic. We're also joined by May Fujimoto, who's Miss Bitcoin founder and CEO. How are you, May?
Hi, thank you, Mike. Nice to meet you, everyone, and thank you for having me. My English is not good, but I will do my best. And if I can't answer the question, my colleague Minoru will help me, and he will answer instead of me.
No problem at all. That's absolutely fine. And actually, I apologise, but I just missed out reading your bio here. So, May Fujimoto is more popularly known in Japan as Miss Bitcoin and has been immersed in the crypto space since 2011. She's the founder of Greconi, a company that helps connect businesses in the blockchain currency industry, and an advisor to a renowned list of established IT companies in Japan. So, welcome, May. Next up, we have Minoru Yanai, who started his career at mobile content startup company called Zapalas as a director for official iMode services. But at e-comic service at Menu Inc., he has achieved 70 million downloads. And in recent years, he has been supporting the entry of services using blockchains in Israel, Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus into the Japanese market. So we'll be hearing about that later on. And also, I gather that he's preparing a new NFT service. So we definitely want to hear more about that. How are you, Minoru?
Yeah, pretty good. Thank you for introducing me. I've been involved in the crypto industry, so I guess it's around 5 years. How I started is the connection with the big ICO project from Israel to Japan. And also with myself is being involved to organizing one of the biggest is an NFT event and blockchain game event. So last year, 2021, we brought about 2,800 people online and offline together. So myself is been working as a business development and advisory board with several different crypto projects. Last 1-2 years is pretty much focusing in the gamify industry and product and the project.
Great.
Thank you for having me.
Great, fantastic. Well, I definitely want to hear more about that shortly, right after I've introduced the rest of the panel. And you're going to have to help me out here. Yuefei Tan?
Yes.
Did I get that right?
Yes, correct.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much. Yuefei Tan, he's the CEO of Fairyproof and author of the book 2018 China Blockchain Industry Index Report and Basic Blockchain Technology. He's published a number of books such as those reports and is a guest researcher at InPlus Lab at Sun Yat-sen University. How are you, Yuefei?
Hi, Mike. Hi, thank you for having me here. Thank you for the I'd like to join this event. and share my ideas and thoughts with everyone. Here, we have wonderful insights in NFT.
Fantastic. Looking forward to hearing your insights. And last but not least, we have Olivier Monizion, who is a seasoned
Yes.
luxury executive,
Yes.
a French native living in New York. Olivier is the co-founder and chief commercial officer at Exclusible, an NFT marketplace and metaverse partner for luxury brands. How are you, Olivier?
I'm good. And yeah, I know my name is very difficult to pronounce, so it's Moingeon. But even
Moingeon.
French people have a hard time pronouncing it. So no worries.
Moingeon. Thank you so much. Well,
Sure.
French is just such a beautiful language. I wish I could speak it, but I'm afraid I don't. So you'll have to deal with my dulcet tones for the rest of the panel. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to kick this off with a few questions. First, I'm going to sort of run through our panelists one by one, and I asked them two questions. First of all, I want to ask you individually about what you're working on at the moment and what's exciting you. And secondly, I have a second question, follow-up question. So my first question to you is, Fujimoto, who Miss Bitcoin. Question first of all is like, tell us how you are, what you're working on, what's new with you, and secondly, do you feel the Bitcoin community is missing out on this NFT explosion? So tell us your thoughts.
Okay, thank you for your question. So I want to make Minoru 質問の最初の意味 I need Minoru's help. 最初のクエスチョン You are mute now. 最初は
最初の方はまあいろいろなんかキャリアっていうか何やってきたかっていうのと、セカンドは、NFT と、ビットコインでなんか失ってるもんないというかミッシングパートがない。
Thank you for your translate. Thank you for your support. Yes. So I think that many people think that Miss Bitcoin, it is very strange name. But yeah, so I have involved in this industry since 2011. Almost 10 years ago, and so I always try to teach what is blockchain and what is Bitcoin to the many people, but it was very difficult. But 2017, the NFT is move happened, and then so I thought that it's very good content to teach what blockchain is for the people, because NFT is a very good example. So many people are easily to understand, and so very easy to use NFT. And before NFT, so many people talk about the blockchain technology by itself, and it's very difficult to ordinary people. But after NFT booms, so many people can very close. How can I say? Many people can touch what is blockchain. I think this is very great opportunity for everyone. And so now I think that many people know about NFT, and many people know about what is Bitcoin and blockchain is. So that is so very
So I
good.
presume,
Yeah.
so what you are saying is that the launch of NFTs has made crypto more popular, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you for yes, that's correct.
So my second question to you, Mai, is because so many NFTs are on Ethereum, do you feel that Bitcoin community is missing out?
Yeah, so now almost NFT believer is from Ethereum community, and Bitcoin community is some Bitcoiners don't like NFT so much, but yeah, but me is not. I like Bitcoin and I like NFT. I like both, and so some interesting project trying to create NFT on Bitcoin blockchain. I think if it can be. So I think it's also very interesting. But I think it's not easy to build, but still maybe RGB project. So the project name is RPG project, and now still trying to create NFT on Bitcoin. It is also very interesting.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So, yeah, there's a lot of new projects around that are trying to do that connection. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on now to David Palmer, who's with Vodafone. David, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you working on? What interests you about this subject? And then, secondly, I'd like you to ask you how big companies like Vodafone can participate in this new world.
Yeah, so a bit about myself. I mean, I've been in the blockchain space for maybe 6 years, 6 years now, helping businesses to really look at and adopt the technology. Myself, I started out mining Bitcoin many years ago. Got attracted to Ethereum, smart contract programming, and Solidity. And really, started to ask myself the question: how can blockchain technology impact the industry that I'm working in, which is telecommunications? That led to a lot of exploration of use cases, where we're really looking at how the 6 billion smartphones and the network that's supporting it can really bring adoption to blockchain. So that's generally the angle I come from. And when you sort of look at that and the smartphone, 6 billion devices, there's also maybe 20 billion IoT devices as well. There's an interesting, there's a powerful intersection of telco and blockchain, which I think can bring the next generation of mass adoption. So that's what I've been working on, over the past years. There's some announcements coming out on that. In terms of NFTs, you would have noticed in December, or you may have noticed in December, that Vodafone auctioned the first SMS that was sent as an NFT. And I agree. I think NFTs are great technologies that have captured the imagination of the mass sort of population. But I think there's also a business use for them. Because NFTs represent digital ownership, and we're seeing now as we start to explore metaverse concepts and frameworks, how important digital ownership of is, and how the NFT can not only store that ownership, but can be a transactor of that ownership. So in terms of how this technology can help telco and big businesses, I think the first thing is, at its most basic, blockchain brings trust. It's decentralization, it's the core of Web3, and it brings trust. So there's a whole section of automation of businesses and people and customer experiences that we can get from blockchain, right? From as simple as having a touchless application for a phone contract, to not having to show a driver's license or a passport in crossing a border because you have verifiable credentials and digital identification. In terms of NFTs, I think there's a wealth of digital data, digital ownership, digital assets that can be tokenized, some for NFTs, some in fungible tokens. But from the NFT side, I think when you start to tokenize or turn digital things that businesses produce into NFTs, it's really powerful. So we just need to look at the announcements this week. JP Morgan, getting into the metaverse and having a shop front there. But then we're seeing a lot of the retail organizations, HMV, Adidas, Nike, adding NFTs to their offering as sort of an experience layer. So I'm seeing that we're starting with retail, we're starting with art, but you've got event ticketing that is an obvious one that can follow. Retail experience, certificates. There's a myriad of use cases that can come for business, and I think the exciting thing is that we're just at the beginning. So I'll stop talking now, well, because I could probably just go on for the whole project. But in essence, I think there's a massive opportunity with NFTs for business, and that is what we should, what I think will lead to the growth coming forward in the coming years.
Very interesting. Thank you, David. David Palmer from Vodafone there. Yes, it'd be very interesting to see what happens with big businesses getting hold of NFTs. I was, in fact, given that you're from Vodafone, I was actually reading about 6G today. 6G, very interesting. That's going to come in about 10 years. So, but of course, the idea of 6G being a very intelligent network and therefore able to deal with the loads that might imply crypto and blockchains running across them. So all to play for. Very interesting future we have coming up. Next up, I want to turn to Minoru Yanai, who is, as I said earlier, who is doing a great deal of work out of Japan on blockchains and NFTs. Minoru, first of all, tell us a little bit about what you're working on and what are the kinds of things you're interested in right now.
Okay, so at the moment, there is several different projects I'm working with, but most of them is the entertainment industry or IP business, which is animation or manga content or game industry. So recently, I'm involved building the property on the Dust Sandbox and also Decentraland. So this is a new project which is doing, and maybe we're going to build 5, 6, or even 10 properties on the Sandbox and the Decentraland in this year. This is one was my project is doing, and also doing the advisory roles for the gamify project. So it's pretty much blockchain or NFT technology combining together with the entertainment industry. That is my main focus. David, as I explained, is enterprise is I'm really curious what's going on, but this is not my field. So it's pretty much I'm focusing on the entertainment with blockchain technology. So
I guess you would say therefore that you're probably looking a lot at game NFTs inside games. Would that be correct?
Yeah, it is. But at the moment it's pretty not like a global, but the Asian cross-border project. For example, I'm advising the project from Taiwan, and also is the investment, and also is the helping some Chinese project entering some other market, of course in Japan, and is helping their making a partnership, such as their RSS3 is their new upcoming project they're from mainly China, and so it's pretty much around the Asian areas, including Southeast Asia.
Right. Thank you. Next up, I would like to turn to Yuefei Tan, who's CEO of Fairyproof. Yuefei, what is going on with in China with NFTs? I know that you're doing a lot of work in China. Tell us about what the Chinese market is going on.
Yes, well, there are two kinds of stories. Publicly, the Chinese government has banned cryptocurrency. Actually, the command was issued last year. Nearly all the activities like trading and mining have been were shut down last year. So, on one hand, the Chinese government is trying to promote its digital currency, while controlled by the central government. But on the other hand, all these crypto-related activities have been shut down. So it's hard to say. Apparently, apparently you can hardly find or hear any crypto-related activities, but privately, still a lot of people are interested in crypto activities. They still do trading of both ERC20 tokens and NFT tokens. So still there are, I think, a relatively large market in China in the crypto area. But these activities are more like maybe underground,
Yeah, interesting, very interesting. But do you detect a lot of interest in NFTs in China, even though it isn't underground?
Yes, at least as far as I know, at least I'm very interested in NFTs and investment of NFTs, and a lot of people that I know in the crypto area are very interested in NFTs. And this year, just recently, quite a few Chinese NFT projects have been launched, and they are still very popular among this group of people. I mean, underground.
Right. Yeah. Well, fascinating, because obviously the Web3 world being what it is, many of us wouldn't even necessarily know if some of the projects that are appearing are coming from China or not. You know, obviously people keep their identity secret, perhaps they're a little bit concerned about official interest in what they might be doing. So very interesting, and so lovely to hear. Very, very fascinating to hear more from you about that later on. Now, if I could turn to Olivier Monizion, who is
Sure.
with who working a lot with luxury brands and NFTs. First of all, Olivier, tell us what you're working on at the moment and what you're interested in. And then secondly, let's hear a little bit more about this connection with luxury brands and NFTs.
Sure, absolutely. So we have our own marketplace where we sell digital luxury NFTs, and we have a drop coming up this Sunday with an amazing watch brand called Louis Moinet. It's a 200-year-old watch brand from Switzerland. It's the inventor of the chronograph, and we're doing a beautiful generative NFT collection of 1,000 NFTs. So it's on Sunday on Exclusible.com. You can also win 2 physical watches through a contest, and each watch is worth 16,000 Swiss francs. So definitely worth it checking it out. And yes, so we are basically working with a lot of luxury jewelry, fashion, cars, beauty, also fashion photographers, and very soon art galleries to basically help them in their Web3 journey and help them sell their NFTs in a much better, more sophisticated experience, both for the brand and the consumer, through our own marketplace. So that's our core business. That's at least how we started Exclusible 6 months ago. Okay. But then we also started diversifying in the metaverse. We bought $1.8 million worth of land in Sandbox. So we own 3 large 6x6 in Sandbox, which we started developing as luxury districts and luxury real estate asset. And then we sold those assets as NFT. And in January, we sold 150 for a good ETH, and we sold out in 5 hours. And then we sold 25 islands between 25 ETH to 60 ETH, and they sold out before we could actually put them. So we pre-sold everything. And amongst our buyers, we have very famous soccer players, very famous tennis players like Stan Wawrinka. We have supermodels, and we have 2 billionaires, including the founder of eToro.
Right. So Yossi's in there as well.
Who? Sorry?
Yossi.
Yeah,
founder of
exactly.
eToro, is in there.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
I know Yossi. So tell me, quick, while I've got you on stage, tell me a little bit, just a second. Were you responsible for Gucci getting involved in Sandbox?
I wish. No, not at all. We are very, very close to the Gucci team. We've been talking to them very frequently since July of last year. And no, Gucci, it's such a innovative and forward-thinking brand that they do things on their own. And so they just announced that they purchased land on Sandbox. We're not far from each other, actually. So no, but we know them very well. That's what I can say. Yes.
Fascinating. I think it's wonderful that we've got a Frenchman on the panel here, because NFTs are so much about culture. And if there's one thing that the French are very known for, it's culture. Let's face it. It's a big deal. Now I'm going to I would like to sort of throw the question out, a couple of questions out here, guys. Just for let's chew some of this stuff over. Obviously, we know that NFTs have been enormous in collectibles, memorabilia, and digital art. How long do we think this market's going to run? Have we seen the peak of this market? Do we feel that NFT in art and memorabilia is going to be continue for the rest of, say, 2022 and beyond? What's some of your view? Perhaps we can hear from you. Maya Fujimoto, Miss Bitcoin. What do you think?
Okay. So I think so it hasn't been many years since memorabilia and collectibles become popular. So however, it is certain that NFTs expand the power that many contents originally had, and this trend will continue to be more active, I think.
Right, yeah. Well, I think you're probably right there. But does anyone else want to weigh in on whether or not we're about to reach the top of the market or not?
Yeah. So I think we're at the beginning of the market. I think popularity doesn't necessarily equal price. So I think one of the things I was sort of mentioning over the last 2 weeks is, okay, if we're from London, right? So if Mayfair gets bought up on Sandbox and Decentraland, what is to stop another Metaverse company from coming up and selling Mayfair again, right? There's no limited or scarce supply, which is what sets price. So I think there's some issues around copyright, around sovereignty, around scarcity that needs to be sorted out. But in terms of where this bubble's going, I think it's only the beginning. I think there's some economic challenges. So we're expecting high inflation, high interest rates. That will be interesting to see whether people continue to buy NFTs. But I think they've captured the market, and it's only the beginning. We're only beginning to start seeing big brands, enter the NFT market and sell NFTs for experience. We've got art. I said we've got event ticketing, and anything could be an NFT. So we haven't seen it take off in a big way in soccer. That could be the next big one, and they're going up in price a lot. So I would say it's only the beginning, but I'll leave it to the others to maybe comment more.
Who else would like to talk about their view? Olivier?
Yes, absolutely. So I totally agree. It's just the beginning. I think there will be two phases. first of all, we might go through a consolidation phase where a lot of projects are going to go down, maybe go down to zero, because we are in this hyperinflated market right now, I feel, and the fundamentals on some of the projects are not necessarily there. Roadmaps are a bit vague. The process of creating the allow list has become just a game of pumping Discord servers and running contests on Twitters. And so I think at some point this is going to slow down, and hopefully the projects with the most merits will make it through, because they will add real value to the communities and to the world in general. But in parallel, the longer term vision that we share at Exclusible and what we tell the brands is that NFTs are going to fully be part of our lives. The more we move forward in time, the more the more we are going towards mass adoption. And in my opinion, I personally think that the technological piece will disappear slowly in the back end, and that maybe in a few years, we're all going to have crypto wallets without necessarily knowing that we have a crypto wallet. And we're all going to buy NFTs without really knowing that they are NFTs. And at some point, we might actually stop calling them NFTs, and we might find some name that's more generic and less barbaric. But in terms of technology between crypto, blockchain, and NFTs, I think there's absolutely zero doubt in my mind that they unleash such a new level of creativity and possibilities for so many different industries. And for brands in my sector, for brands, it allows to develop a new business model, a new vertical, like a new product line, which would be digital assets to fuel virtual commerce and to create a new type of engagement and creativity with the younger audience. So for me, it's just the beginning, and it's going to be very big.
Yeah, well, I think most of us would agree with that. Perhaps if I could move to you, Minoru, who obviously you've got a perspective there in terms of the Japanese market. Is the Japanese market overheated? Is it a top, or is it cruising out, leveling out? What's going on?
Okay, but it's centralized. The Rakuten has started centralized marketplace. It's pretty much the obey to the government system and the rules. So then is pretty much NFT marketplace is the behavior of user is not really decentralized. This is one of the behavior, and this is the rule. It's a cryptocurrency is pretty really difficult and really legalized. Only the biggest the exchange is providing 19 tokens only, 90 currencies. So its Japanese market is centralized and it's not really started yet. So it might follow what's happening in US, or it might go to totally different ecosystem, or not really sure yet. So it's a really hard market entering to the from overseas. So it's I don't know, good or bad. It's a pretty unique, strange market at the moment. So NFT itself will long quite long years, and I don't really think it's not going to disappear. It's one of the collectible. It's one of the game asset. It's going to be long years. But I don't really think is there general Japanese users or investors will not invest like a huge amount of tokens like is the current market. So I believe it's going to be totally different market compared to other countries.
Mike, I think you are mute now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. Whoops,
no, it's okay. I thought like
guys.
it's a stuck to freeze my phone.
Yeah, so very interesting. I was just saying,
Yeah.
very interesting. That means, fascinating to hear from you that you think that the Japanese market is going to be different to other parts of the world. I mean, certainly, as a casual and outside observer, if you look at the Bored Apes movement, that reminds me a lot of some sort of manga, Japanese comics I've seen before, and so I think it's going to be a very rich market, very rich in terms of culture there. I think it's very fascinating to watch. Next up, Yuefei Tan of Fairyproof in the Chinese market. You said it was still underground. What are the other kinds of things that you're seeing? Are you seeing people talking about NFTs in other terms, perhaps in securitization or asset-backed assets, or other kinds of applications, not just art in NFTs?
Well, publicly, people would talk about NFTs as digital arts or digital collectibles, but privately, people would still use the term NFTs. Well, with regard to the development of the NFTs in China, well, just like what I said just recently, quite a few Chinese teams launched their NFT projects. Well, but quite a few of these projects still follow what has been done last year. Well, from this point of view, the Chinese teams and the Chinese market lag a little bit behind the current international market. But there are still a lot of people are interested in NFTs. Right after these projects are minted, are started, a lot of people would still buy these NFTs. So it's still hard. It's still hard. But in my point of view, not only these Chinese projects, but overall, all the existing NFT projects, I think, I guess maybe most of them, the prices of them will go to zero if the current market still gets worse and worse eventually. Well, and we talk a lot about big brands entering the NFTs, and also there are some Chinese pop stars entering the NFTs last year. But I think those big brands or pop stars entering NFTs, they also issue their NFTs, but these NFTs are more like digitizing their culture or their brands in our real life into the metaverse. But I think these NFTs, they are valuable, but their value to some degree is very limited. I think NFTs which are rooted in the crypto space, like rare papers, like Bored Apes, like CryptoPunks, these are native crypto NFTs. These are more valuable in the long term. Yeah.
I see. Thank you. Great. And then we're reaching the last 10 minutes of this session. I just want to remind everybody that you are in the Club Connect.Club Festival. We're talking about unusual business in NFTs. We're talking about NFTs across markets, and also gradually, obviously, how uses might change over time. So welcome. My name is Mike Butcher. I'm the editor-at-large for TechCrunch. And so moving on, we've got a few closing minutes of this session now. Obviously, NFTs have become incredibly known for art, for collectibles, etc. What about other kinds of use cases? Do we see that NFTs gradually moving into not just collectibles, but say in-game assets inside games, inside the entertainment industry? What about perhaps NFTs being used for helping citizens to track and control, access their personal health records, or access their own data, or perhaps sell their own data, own it, but also sell it at the same time? What are the other kinds of use cases you're seeing in NFTs that might become a big deal overnight? David Palmer from Vodafone, perhaps I could ask your opinion about that subject.
No, I think it's a really good question. Anything can be an NFT, so it's a unique asset. There's no reason why housing deeds can't be NFTs. There's no reason why phone numbers can't be NFTs. There's no reason why house deeds can't be NFTs. Loans, certificates relating to authenticity of devices. From a pure business point of view, the sort of potential scope and the potential use cases are huge. And you've got the concept of hierarchies of NFTs as well. So there's no reason why a car cannot be an NFT, and it could have some sub NFTs for different bits of it, right? So I think it's potential. I think there's great potential. I think that the obvious ones going forward would be ticketing, event ticketing. I think that's going to be huge. Where instead of having a online ticket, you have an NFT, which could potentially be used to also transact the ownership of the rights to view something. And I think also pay-per-use are sort of big ones that are coming. So I think retail collectibles in game ownership is going to be massive. But then why stop at games, right? Why can't NFTs be used for other virtual assets that you have and transferring value? They're using the same sort of model.
Yeah, May Fujimoto, you switched on your camera. Did you have a view about this subject?
Yes, can you hear me? Sorry, yeah. I just want to share the use case of the NFT, and I think as you guys had heard about Axie Infinity before, and I'm very interested in the blockchain gamify NFT and guild businesses. Because I think you know that Axie is an NFT game released in 2018 by Sky Mavis, a Vietnam developer. It's a game where you buy, trade, and play with virtual creatures called Axies. It is a global NFT game with monthly sales more $300 million in Q3 2021. The Axie game has become a very popular topic for all over the world, not only the crypto industry, but also the majority, because Axie was able to provide financial support to many who suffer from the corona. I think this is very good use case. So NFT help the emerging countries who want to find the new job. I think it's a great example.
Fantastic, good point. Now I'm just trying to work out how I can get Sean Alimov on stage, who wants to say something. Sean, are you allowed on stage? Can I put you on there?
I guess so, since I'm the founder of the NFT Club on Connect.Club. So.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Yes.
I'm glad you're here.
Great.
Yes, great to have you guys. I'm Sean Alimov. I'm the founder of the NFT Club here under the umbrella which this event is happening. Delighted to see such a great panel of expert luminaries. David, we came across before. Glad that you're experiencing this platform. Just wanted to say, we at Connect.Club, we believe in creating meaningful connections, and this is why we've designed this audio and video platform. and dedicated exclusively to global leaders, proponents, brand owners, artists, collectors, every enthusiast who is actively engaged in crypto use cases such as Metaverse, NFT, and DeFi. I'm actually really glad that we have such a diverse representation from France, from Japan. We've just finished a session with Fujimoto, which is a Paris-based exquisite marketplace that's built on Polygon. We've got a club dedicated to promoting Japanese art on a global level. It's called Japanese Artists Club. So our role is to become a really meaningful part of any metaverse, for that matter, where collectors and artists can monetize it, their artwork, they can get the valuable content. So I certainly encourage everybody to tap on my avatar and join our Discord channels as well. Definitely would be great to have you there.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I just had a quick question, since we're bringing the pay to earn kind of concept here. So maybe May, it's a question to you. Do you think the whole concept of the metaverse is set to replace real jobs and create new job opportunities where workers will earn their salary through games?
Yes. So in the near future, we can, of course, we can play the blockchain game, and we can play to earn more. And so there will be more and more game coming. And and then I think not only play to earn, but also do you know the app Stepun? Stepun is like a walk to earn. So we can earn through the walk or running, and it is also very, very interesting. And so I think so near future, so that now the working and the playing and separate, but near future it is, I think, that together, play to earn, walk to earn, so everything to earn. Sorry my English, but yeah, it's very, very
English
interesting.
is perfect.
Thank you.
I just wanted to point out something to Olivier. Bonsoir. Last Friday, Olivier.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, yes.
Bonsoir. Yes.
We had Sebastian Bourget and Oana Ruxander. I don't know if you're familiar with Oana. She's the EVP and Chief Digital Officer at Warner Music. So they bought a massive beachfront property. Yeah, we were talking actually about the Gucci deal and what Warner Music did with the Sandbox. So they've actually bought a huge waterfront property. What about you? Is your land nearby? Because I think your price has just gone twice up. Huh?
Yes, exactly. So it's funny. I was on a Zoom call this morning. Bourget. We're very close to the Sandbox team. So we bought 3 large land and in the vicinity of Snoop Dogg. So yeah, and
guys, I'm going to have to break up this little party, but by reminding you that we now have some time for the audience to ask some questions, and we've got a short amount of time, about 10 minutes left for the audience to ask questions. So if you put thumbs up, I think if you put thumbs up on your avatar, then we can find out who would like to ask a question, make a point, something like that.
Just to do some corrections, guys, please tap on the yellow speaking head, and we will let the first 5 people to come and ask their questions. 1 question per time, please. Thank you.
Who's going to jump on?
Right, guys, let me just explain. In order for you to speak, simply step on the stage where I am.
Yeah.
And you will be given the mic automatically. One at a time, please.
Okay, one at a time. Go ahead, sir. You're on the stage. Theophilus, do you have a point? Do you want to jump on?
Oh, yes, thank you. I was curious to ask, I'm a marketing strategist here in New York. and I've been playing with a lot of different strategies and concepts within the NFT community and the NFT spaces. I'm very interested in seeing, how do you guys think this will change the world of marketing and advertising now that we're bringing, in a way, almost the impossible into a digital space? You know, I could craft concepts now of things flying around in the air as an advertisement, because I'm in a space where there's really nothing to hold back the creativity of a project. So I'm interested in seeing what you guys think will be the future now of the marketing and advertising world. And I'll stop here.
Okay, thanks very much, sir.
I'm happy to take this one.
Go for it.
Or to start, because so there are two levels for me to answer your question. First of all, in terms of creativity, yes, 100%. In the metaverse, in the digital world, laws of physics don't apply, time doesn't apply, so you can have unlimited creativity. But so that's super interesting, obviously, and you can, create whatever environment or experience you can for an audience that will understand it. But most importantly, in my opinion, the revolution is the crypto wallet. And that's a fundamental change in the way brands can approach CRM. It's not meant to replace anything, but it's just an added, completely new layer that creates a new relationship between a brand and its audience, whether it's clients or fans or followers. And the crypto wallet, it's a new, you don't need to collect tons and tons of data on your clients. The sheer ownership of NFT will allow you to basically gate access to a very rich CRM program.
That's a very good point, Olivier. I'm interrupting, but what you're saying obviously is that people can control their privacy a great deal.
Yes.
So control their own data. There's great points, and that means that advertising, of course, which has managed to often, take a lot of data away from us as individuals, will be able to control a lot more of that data in the future in terms of advertising and marketing.
Yes.
Now we have, next up, we're going to have Kamaya Giles. Kamaya, let's hear from you. What's your question? Kamaya.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. This is a question for Miss Bitcoin. So Miss Bitcoin, I love the whole name. It's awesome to see other women in the space. So I was curious, in terms of the creation of NFTs, do you see that there will be a change in the culture for the Bitcoin lovers where they will adopt NFTs, or will they continue to be behind with the Ethereum lovers and enthusiasts? I'm extremely curious because I'm an NFT consultant and artist, and I love Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Okay, thank you for your question. And sorry, my English, Minoru.
Oh,
short.
it's fine. It's perfect.
Thank you. Minoru さん、ちょっと NFT how どうやって change the world みたいな。
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So as I shared earlier, the Plate One is very, very innovative. So our work will be changed, and this is a very, very impactful things. And that sorry, my English. That is my answer. And and so more artists will have a chance because of NFT. This is one more thing about the impact of NFT, I think. I hope my answer is correct.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Yes,
Thank you.
I think, Jemai, I think you made a very good point there, which is that there was going to be an interesting tension between Ethereum and Bitcoin in the NFT space, but hopefully that will be resolved. Next up, I think we're running out of time gradually, but next up we're going to have Janitor, NFT, Janitor, oh, I like it, Janitor, very cool name. Janitor, let's hear from you. What's your question or point? Hello, JanetAir.nft. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, sorry about that. I was trying to work this right. Yeah, I was just wondering, Janet Air was just a NFT that's going to be again dropped soon. I'm attending Super Mint in LA. So I was just curious on like how do you see everything going forward with NFTs and as we see the highly adoption phase starting to kick in, like I mean, will that transfer not only like will that be transferred globally because like in China, like how they have things going on, and then also then you have like the war like that's happening right now, like
Yeah.
will that how will that affect it? Do you think that will increase it or stop it from going further?
That's a very good question. Will uncertainty in the world, such as the Russian invasion of Ukraine or China's crackdown on crypto, will it affect how NFT grows? Well, I personally think that it probably won't. But then, of course, there's always markets which are very jittery about these things. Perhaps Mr. Vodafone, David Palmer, do you have any views on this?
Yeah, so I think as the economy contracts, so if war leads to the economy contracting, if there's other things going on, then of course if demand goes down, I expect that to translate to NFTs. However, there's substitution, right? So the question is, will people substitute buying other things, rather than substitute, out of NFTs? And I think it's a difficult question. I think the jury's still out. I think there's a lot of excitement on NFTs, which have pushed the prices very high. I don't know what the fundamentals are behind that because there's no scarcity, right? We can create a false scarcity, but the reality is you can create infinite demand of land in the metaverse and collectibles, etc. So I don't know. My instinct is that it will continue to grow, and I do not think it will be affected by wider macroeconomic impacts from war and rising interest rates and inflation.
I think,
but I could be wrong.
I think, well, we saw the explosion of the NFT universe during a global 100-year pandemic, didn't
Exactly.
we? So
Exactly.
it looks like it's probably here to stay. I think we've got time for one more point from.
David, can you give me 30 seconds? 30 seconds. So there, Minoru.
Go on, Abraham.
Abraham Joy, do you want to go? 30 seconds left.
Oh yeah, sure.
So
sorry about
that.
It's
all right.
Go for it, Abraham.
Oh yeah,
Joy,
so my name is Abraham Choi. I'm a business development manager from Energy. We are a DeFi and a NFT marketplace. So my first question is,
You've
security
only got
is
one
kind of
question. You've only got
yeah,
one
security is kind of a concern for us. Yeah, like there was the NFT marketplace, like OpenSea. We had a phishing attack like 2 days ago, and like constant phishing attacks all across. So like, what do you think, guys, about like the safety of NFTs? Like, so like for me, like I don't want.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm going to interrupt you. Safety of NFTs. Last point, Olivier. All that NFTs are going to be stolen. What do you think about the safety of NFTs in the future?
Hi. Sorry, I think it has to do with humans more than technology, and we need extra layers of security. But it's more about education rather than the tech.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point. But, ladies and gentlemen, remember to put your two-factor authentication on for everything you own, and then you'll sleep well at night. Ladies and gentlemen, we're drawing our panel to a close. I want to thank Mai Fujimoto, Miss Bitcoin and founder of CEO, David Palmer from Vodafone Business Blockchain Lead, Minoru Yanai from Japan, and Yuefei Tan, the CEO of Fairyproof, and Olivier Monizion with Luxury and Marketplace. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike Butcher. I'm from TechCrunch, and I have had the pleasure of running this panel during the NFT Festival on Connect.Club. Thanks very much. Give yourself a round of applause.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye
We
bye.
are going.
Thank you, Mike.
We are going.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. You're very. We are
Let-
now going to bring on stage our next guest. I feel like a chat show host here. This is fantastic. While we bring on Robert Norton from Various Arts, let's hear again from Sean Alimov, who's the founder of the NFT Club on Connect.Club. Sean, what are your sort of final thoughts on that panel?
Do you know what? It was an interesting panel, wasn't it? What a diversity as well, huh?
Huge diversity from all over the world.
Yeah, and I like how you pointed out it's the French guys that got the style right, huh? It's coming from an Englishman. That's a huge compliment, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm wondering where the Italians are, because they're very known for their styles as well.
Yeah, we've forgotten about the Italians, like we've done with football, isn't it, with them? But yeah, I think it was a very interesting panel, and I certainly feel when it comes to fine art, there is a huge support from collectors and artists for NFTs. I think it's difficult to say in the short term whether they're going to have a drastic effect on the whole market, but it certainly gives a promising long-term future.
So
what do you think?
What are the kinds of things happening in NFT Club on your Discord? What are some of the hot topics you're discussing at the moment?
Do you know what? Because we're covering everyone who is just a beginner to more people that are advanced in the NFT journey. So the guys that just trying to enter digital collectible markets or artists, we provide content with regards to what question they should be asking, what direction they should be following. We've got people sharing their best practices on this platform. And it's more immersive, more interactive. People can share their projects using their audio and video screens, etc. We organize the galleries for people that already have NFTs on certain marketplaces. So big questions now coming, especially with the music artists and collectible art, about legalities, the regulations that are gonna come upon us on the both sides of the pond. We're hearing that South Korea is actually gonna be very good market for NFTs. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, man.
Brilliant, very good. Well, I'm sure we'll hear more from you later on. Sean Alimov, who from the Connect Club on Discord. Thank you very much. But now I'm going to turn to our fireside chat with Robert Norton, who is the CEO and founder of Various Arts. And Robert and I have been on the internet space for a little while. So it's a pleasure to be playing chat show host to Robert. How are you? Where are you coming from?
London. This is a first for us in the Metaverse.
This is definitely, I think when 25 years ago when I met Robert once, I never thought I'd be on stage on a phone talking to him in this manner. But this is a real privilege. Now, for those of you who are not particularly aware of Various Art, Various Art was very much a pioneer of digital art and verifying, as the name implies, verifying digital art a few years ago, and was obviously also a pioneer in the blockchain space. Let's hear a little bit about the journey, because many people may not be aware of just how pioneering Various Art has been. And so, Robert, why don't you take it away and give us some a little potted history of Various Art and your founding of it.
Yeah, thanks so much, and it's a pleasure to be on stage for this fireside chat and also this new app. So thanks for inviting me. I think to understand Various Art, it's important to understand the two businesses that came before that I founded. It was a platform that we started in 2010, which was basically digital art by many of the world's leading contemporary artists, from Damien Hirst to Tracy Emin, Bill Viola, Shepard Fairey, Jenny Holtz, and many others. But back in 2010, there wasn't really any public use of kind of permissionless ledger technology. There wasn't a